up guys? So this is Adrian with Rio Men Haircare. Today we're going to be showing you a step-by-step video on how to do a mid-drop fade. We're going to be doing a little bit of texture on top, and at the end we hope to help you style the hair a little bit better. So the first thing I'm going to do is start marking my guideline with my 0. Now I'm going to go ahead and open my clipper so that I can create a new guideline above my 0 line. So once I've done that, I want to work on this bottom line immediately so that moving forward for the rest of the cut, I'll be working down to a line that I'll be able to later on take out with the half guard. So here, we're going to go ahead and adjust our clipper down 2 clicks so that way I can begin to attack that bottom line a little more. Whenever I'm blending this line down, I want to make sure that I stay away from that top line that I created earlier, because if I end up touching that top line with the clipper now adjusted down 2 clicks, I'll push my fade higher than I actually wanted to have it. So that first initial guideline with the clipper open, I want to leave that alone and then continue to work my clicks down. So the first one I did right here was 2 clicks down. Now I'm going to go to 1 click down. Remember that initial line at the bottom that I placed in earlier was done with the clipper completely closed. This is now the closest I can get to it without moving that bottom line higher. So now I'm going to go ahead and get my 1.5 guard with the lever open, and I'm going to create a new guide above the one that I've already created. You always want to try to follow the same shape you took earlier. Remember, we are doing a mid drop, so I wanted to kind of come in a little straighter with a drop in the back. I always recommend doing drop fades whenever you have texture on top, because what ends up happening, you end up being able to blend this silhouette into the length of your hair on top. So now I'm going to go ahead and close my lever, and I'm going to start breaking down this line without attacking this top line. So I want to just slowly bring this weight line down to the half guard I left earlier. So here, I'm going to go ahead and jump to my half guard on my clipper open. Now remember, this bottom line is about a half and this top line is about a 1.5. Now with my half guard on my clipper extended, I'm close to a 1 guard, and that's going to help me connect this bottom line into this top guide that I've already created. Now, as earlier, I'm going to go ahead and close my clipper up about 2 clicks to shorten the blade so that I can continue breaking down this line at the bottom. So now with the half guard completely closed, I'm going to come in vertically and just point cut into the haircut. That way, if I make any little mistake, it doesn't create a real drastic line that's going to alter my entire haircut, where I might have to go back in and do things again. So now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to grab my fade comb so that I can connect the 1.5 on the side up to the top. If you're newer to cutting hair and you're still kind of nervous about doing clipper over comb, what I'm going to be doing is throwing my 1 guard on. Now the only thing is, when you throw your 1 guard on, it creates another set of teeth that are working against you as you're trying to cut the hair. So make sure you take your time and be patient. The biggest thing is that since I used the 1.5 guard earlier, the 1 guard plus the comb equal out to about a 1.5. So that way I could work comfortably and not have to worry about the fact that I might cut too much hair and then lighten up the transition of the fade in an area that I was trying to keep dark. What I'm doing here is I'm using the red comb to help me level off of the haircut, and then I'm using the 1 to kind of just trim any hairs down. The 1 guard is again preventing me from going any shorter than the 1.5 I did earlier. Now that I've done that, I know that I've done the 1/2 guard and the 1.5 guard. So with my clipper on, now that I already have the 1 on, I'm gonna go ahead and come into this haircut and transition the blend a little bit longer so that the haircut lasts longer for my client and so it looks a little bit better as a stretch blend. So there, that was with my clipper open. Now I'm gonna go ahead and close my clipper and continue to just work on the bottom part of this fade just to detail it out. Now what I'm gonna go ahead and do, guys, is clean up the edge up so that way I can start to see a little bit more into the haircut to see if I need to detail any lines out further. I always recommend you never really do anything twice until you've done everything once. So I wouldn't want to detail any parts of this fade until I have pretty much everything at least done one time. Once creating the curve, I'm gonna go ahead and come in and just shave out the bottom of the line. I'm using this reference from earlier to know where I gotta kind of flick the clipper out so that I don't create a new line. As you can see here, I'm gonna go ahead and angle out my clipper so that way I get the shortness of the blade without risking cutting any of the hair on the top that I'm not trying to mess with for the haircut that I've already done. Once the bottom's been double zeroed out, I'm gonna go ahead and come in with my electric razor and I'm gonna shave out just the bottom of it. With the shaver, I don't ever recommend doing too much work because it can create a lot of irritation for customers. So whenever I am using the shaver, you're gonna see me use it lightly just around the ear and on the back of the neck and for sure on the sideburns. Those are the primary areas I would focus on whenever using your shaver because it really makes the haircut pop. Now you're just gonna go ahead and continue to do the exact same steps on the other side so that we can get into the top of this haircut. All right, guys, so now we're gonna go ahead and cut the top. He is currently letting his hair grow out, so all I'm gonna do is go in through and check it and point cut it out a little bit to continue to add to the texture. It's really cool when you have hair colored like this on top because as the roots begin to show more, you get to see a lot more of that texture definition, and it's a really cool style. So what I do like to do is try to get the hair to come all the way back a little bit to stand it up, so that way it makes it easier to keep my center sections. So right here, I'm just gonna come through and kind of section out the hair. Again, since I'm adding texture to it, these sections don't need to be as perfect, especially if you're still just learning, but just having an understanding on what I like to call this the Spartan helmet, and just separating it so you get your center profile. And again, it doesn't need to be perfect, only because I'm not cutting hair completely right now. I'm just gonna come in and just point cut the hair just a little bit, so that way we have texture and I could balance out any of the longer hairs that were left long from the last time we textured it. So right here, I'm gonna come down at about a 45 to blend that into the shears. So once that's done, this is what I consider my Spartan helmet. The entire center of his head already cut to the length that I want it. I use that guide to then follow me through the sides, so that way I can have balance on both sides and always have my guideline directly in the center of his haircut, no matter where I'm at. So now I'm gonna pull this center section over and use that as a guide for everything else that I'm doing. And right here, since we are going for a textured crop, I wanna create uniform layers. So I want all the hair on top to be cut based on where I'm pulling from, meaning that from here, my comb would come straight up. But right here, my comb would come at that same angle, so that the length of the hair remains the same no matter where it is on the head. And using that center section from earlier as my guide. I want to pull all the hair over, and I want to make sure any hair doesn't overlap past this shape that we've already created. Now I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now that I've already cut the top, what we're going to do is we're going to blow dry it. What I am going to do beforehand is go ahead and put a little bit of Mellow into it, so that way I can have a little bit of a base for when I'm styling his hair. So once you emulsify and apply it into the hair, it's going to give you a little bit of grip, and then I'm going to come in with the blow dryer, and I'm going to blow dry it without the diffuser first for a couple seconds. I want to make sure that I get the hair about 80% dry. Once it gets to about 80% dry, then I could throw the diffuser on. Once I throw the diffuser on, I'm going to go ahead and get a lot more definition and style into the texture to really get the look I'm going for. So what you see me doing here, guys, is I'm just crunching my fingers up as I use the diffuser. Remember, the diffuser allows you to dry hair without pushing it out of shape. So whenever I am using the diffuser, I just want to create little curls with my fingers, which is what you're seeing me do. With the Mellow applied already, it's going to go ahead and help me lock in his style a little more, so that I can create that nice curves and definition into the hair. So right now, guys, just to make the haircut pop out more, I'm going to throw a little bit of the tintation. Make sure whenever you are doing any type of enhancements, less is more. You don't want to go too crazy with it. So right here, I'm just going to go ahead and apply just a little bit of water so that I can shave the edge up into it. Right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and come in and just shave those little hairs with the grain, just to remove that first dead layer of skin so that the haircut really pops. So there you have it, guys. A little bit of fade, texture, all styled with Rio Men products. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. My Instagram is in the link below. Also, the product that we used today was Rio Men Mellow. If you want to purchase it, you can have it shipped to you within 2 to 3 days at realmenhaircare.com. We hope that you enjoy the video. Make sure to follow and subscribe for more. We're going to keep trying to come back with content that is useful and helpful for everybody in any situation. So whether you're a new barber just starting off or you're an experienced barber just looking for new techniques, we hope to help build that with you. So thanks again, guys. Again, this is Rio Men Haircare, and we'll see y'all soon.